A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into our Tuesday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube. As per usual, our home away from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can come on down, say hello from 2 to 4. Tuesday and Thursday, we are here just about every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the course of the year. They have the multiple TVs located all throughout the establishment. Great food, great beverages, and the best service you will find probably anywhere, certainly in our area. And we love being here. So, as always, a huge thank you to Quaker Steak and Lube for their hospitality of the Goon and Ironhead show. We start today's show, and I just want to quickly address it, but we have heavy hearts. Jeff Brown is, I don't know anybody in the radio business that has been in the radio business in Center County that Jeff Brown hasn't reached out to and has had a positive influence on. He is just as giving and gracious of a radio personality, on-air personality as you will ever find anywhere. Remarkable talent, but also just really, really giving in every sense of the word. And tragic news overnight. Jeff lost his eldest son, Josh, in a horrific car accident. And so, again, just deep, deep sympathy and love to Jeff Brown and his family. Sir. It is, I don't even know, he's posting some wonderful pictures and videos. But
very sad.
Just, beyond heartbreaking. And Jeff, just know our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are with you today and always. And we just hope for some strength and some healing for you and your family in the coming days. Lots to get into. Obviously, the baseball trade deadline. Phillies make a move, get some offensive help, and acquire the second baseman. The Pirates get some bullpen help, and in particular, getting Weaver from the Mets. We'll see what kind of a difference either of those make. Luke Weaver feels like a guy that can help for sure. A bullpen that has been pretty disastrous to this point in the season overall. They've had their moments, but it has been tough sledding for that Buccos bullpen throughout much of the season. Big win last night in the first of 4 against the Brewers, and it almost feels like they certainly need to get at least a split to have any kind of a good feeling right now. But I think after the 1-3 series against the Reds, it's 3-1 would go a long way against the division leaders to getting you to buy back in here as a Pirates fan that the Bucs might be able to hang around at least for a little while longer in the wild card race. But a good win last night, held on for the 4-3 victory. And again, game 2 of that 4-game set is on tap tonight. And Paul Skeens, I believe, goes tomorrow night, and that'll be, again, kind of a, feels like anyway, a pivotal start in the course of his season as well as the Pirates.
Yep.
And again, always ridiculous to put too much on one series or one game in a baseball season. It's 162 games, but it's more just the feeling around it than necessarily the reality of anything. Because again, if you go on, you could lose the next 3 games, go 1-3 against the Brewers, and if you go on a 15-game win streak, all of the Boston Red Sox, all of a sudden,
everything's good.
All is forgotten. So I understand that. I'm just telling you in the moment, right now, this feels like a pretty pivotal series as to how this thing could break for the Pirates this season. And then regardless of what happens, good or bad, they'll move on to the next series, and that'll feel pivotal, and so it goes.
Yes. This some late breaking news today. The Dodgers just signed Cy Young, Greg Maddux, and Nolan Ryan to billion-dollar contracts.
Is it not incredible? And listen,
I was so mad when I saw that the other night.
Yeah, I'm mad at who? Major League Baseball.
Yes, in general, because I'm like,
I'm with you. There's no people taking that out on the Dodgers. I'm like, well, that's the way the rules are set up. If you have
even when the Yankees say, whoa, the Yankees said, whoa. Well, it's within the rules. They can do it. We are not doing it, which is crazy, knowing how you and I grew up with the Yankees back in the day. But yes, it's just, it's not fun. How is that the word I'm looking for? It's not competitive anymore. It's like, are you serious?
Well, here is the I'll play devil's advocate just to have a little fun with it because
sure.
And maybe argue that this was the case anyway. But I mean, it is definitively true now that if you are not a Dodgers fan, right, everybody else is rooting for anybody else,
correct,
but the Dodgers. And the thing with a baseball series is that, yes, generally speaking, especially when you get to the 7-game series, all right, you get pitching like the Dodgers have, and you have that lineup.
Where you down.
Yeah, that's going to prevail. But are you going to sit here and tell me there is no chance for anybody else when you look at the Brewers, the Yankees, the Rays?
I'm looking at one team, Phillies. Can they compete with them?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think there are several teams. I mean, certainly the Dodgers are a prohibitive, overwhelming favorite. But one of the things that draws us to sports, right, like one of the reasons we tuned into the Mike Tyson fights is, yes, it was fascinating to see a human being maul another human being and dispatch of them as quickly as Mike Tyson did throughout that heyday. But also, you went in wondering, is there a chance that maybe, and, the one of the nights that you're like, well, no, there's no chance tonight. Sure enough, Buster Douglas goes in there, and lo and behold, Mike Tyson it turns out, human after all. I'm with you that it, I don't like it in terms of how many riches can one team have. But I will tell you, I do like it in that I will be invested in every Dodgers postseason series, rooting mightily against the Dodgers for no other reason than I don't want them to just be able to buy a championship. And I thought there was a nice piece, I think it was on ESPN, and it's fair enough that listen, it's not that the Dodgers are just buying championship teams. There is a great culture there. I think they have the right manager. Roberts is terrific at managing the egos and all of that. But at the end of the day, it is that they are spending more money. There are other, again, they do have a great culture. That they obviously have done a great job. I mean, one of the reasons they're able to make that trade is their farm system is as good as there is in baseball. The Pirates have a very good farm system, but that's where the comparison would end with the Pirates and the Dodgers. So, yes, I'm with you on the resentment and the feeling of inevitability here. And it may be, again, we'll see how it all plays out. But if somebody does derail the Dodgers dynasty this season, it is going to be like, you might as well hand that team the team of the year for the ESPYs next year already, right? Like it would be truly remarkable if some team is able to take them down. And I just feel like there are teams that I don't think it's completely outlandish to think that in a series in the postseason. Maybe you get a couple of Dodger starters who are a little off. You get another team's, third starter who catches lightning in a bottle,
or your bats are hot.
Yeah, and again, it's baseball.
Baseball,
we talk about it all the time. Everybody has a week, no matter how awful you are, where you look great, and everybody has a week, no matter how great you are, where you look awful. Well, if that week happens to be in the postseason with the awful part for the Dodgers, again, I certainly like their chances of winning it all now, but it does set up, I think, for potential significant drama. And again, it would be a great story if somebody is able to knock off the Dodgers.
And that team will be the Philadelphia Phillies, of course.
I would be okay with that.
If the bats can get hot, I mean, the bullpen is driving me nuts with the Phillies, obviously, but the closer, he blew a lead the other night in the second one. But it is what it is. Again, it happens. It's baseball. You got to win 4 out of 7 in a series in the postseason. And, again, they might not get hot. Who knows what Screwball is in the playoffs? We know how good he is in the regular season. I mean, he's a back-to-back Cy Young winner. But
by the way,
I think that this just guarantees the strike next year.
I agreed.
It just the owners are like, all right, this is wrong.
Is it humanly possible to not like Scooble? I mean, did that guy not handle everything here as
I don't like him
as well as any human being?
He lived in Michigan. When he pitched for the Tigers.
Yeah, no,
he's out of my books.
A top end. Top shelf human being. Just really, really classy with the way he handled everything in that trade, and including joining his new team and saying the right things.
If you're a Detroit fan, how do you handle that?
You say
they're going down the same route as the
last
Pirates.
Season was fun, and
right?
Yes, and it's going to be a long road back. Yeah, welcome to our world. It's not easy, not fun, but you handle it the best you can because that's all.
And how much does Buccos want to be in the American League right now?
Yeah,
with the records they have, and they can't make any ground up.
Nope, no, and Padres ended up being Byers at the deadline too. The wild card race is going to shape up. Hopefully, I'm going to knock on wood here. I'm hoping the Pirates make it interesting and stay in it. And, you could have 6, maybe 7 teams kind of jockeying for position down the stretch here for those wild card spots this season. And, again, hopefully, at least for a little while longer, the Pirates can hang in there as one of the teams that is at least on the edge of the playoffs.
I like what the Phillies did. I wish they had done a little bit more in the bullpen. I'm not going to lie, but I was so mad Saturday night when that came across by that Screwball. I was like, this is it just guarantees that we talk about the NIL box, like the Pandora box that was opened up for the NIL, like. The genie's not going to go back into the bottle here, but these contracts, I mean, you can't start limiting Major League Baseball's money they can make because that's what that's what the players argued for and won. But the owners are going to want to come back and say, well, we have to have a hard cap, which I don't know how the players are going to respond to that other than the players want the max money as they possibly can get. And that's where we're at. I mean, that's why it's going to go. I mean, I think that the owners got to they have to get some kind of price structure in there. And then they got to follow it. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, how much money did the Buccos make the other night by Screwball going there? I guess he's not really that much on the books right now. He will be. Maybe they can hire him get him as a free agent in the offseason.
There you go.
And pay him $350 million.
We may need to cut the show early. We've got a donation of $750,000 being made from some clearly reliable woman in France, and we just need to promise we'll help orphan children. We just need to respond.
Another uncle
here today.
You have a lot of rich uncles, Ironhead.
We got that is quite the post. If you go to the Facebook or YouTube page, you can see the comments, and that is quite the offer.
Wow.
What an opportunity. I think we're going to go ahead and turn it down
pounds, though, Ironhead.
Jeez. Going to turn it down for
euros
for today. So getting closer, obviously, to football season. Do you realize exhibition games start next week?
Well, this is the last weekend
NFL,
until February 20th with no football.
A little bonkers. And I don't know. I've just been talking when I'm out and about. It is just interesting to me to listen to the different thoughts and reactions, and I understand, I think, pretty much all of it. And I mentioned, I think, last week that I do have some friends who are like, I just, at least at this stage, I'm just not that excited about the upcoming season. And it's not that, I obviously want Penn State to do well, like Matt Campbell, all of that. It's just, I don't know these players. I don't know this world of college football. Thank you. And all of those things are coming into play.
Yep.
And then I talked to others, and I talked to a few over the weekend, and they're like, I'm actually pretty excited because of the way this schedule plays out. I really think, this team can get to the playoffs, and once you're in the playoffs, who knows what can or can't happen. I think at the end of the day, it is going to be what happens during those first, I'll throw in the Wisconsin game, those first 4 games of the season, how the team looks, what the reaction is, and how some of the guys come across. I mean, Rocco back to me is a really interesting story. I think he's a guy that, certainly is not lacking in confidence, which is a very good thing in your quarterback. Quarterbacks who lack confidence pretty much can't do well. It's just not something that those two things don't go together. Unconfident quarterback, lots of success. Again, we talk about confidence all the time, just in general in sports, but that is a position where you've got to exude confidence. Becht does, and I think the loyalty he has with Campbell, and he talked about that. It was not easy for him to leave Iowa State. It wasn't just, hey, I'm going to follow no matter what. It was, man, I like Iowa State. There's a reason I committed here, and yeah, Matt Campbell was part of it. But it's this place, it's the fans, but the more, he talked about it, and as the, coaching hire was made there and all of the things played out, then he decided it was
the right place,
going to be a good thing to follow Matt Campbell here. And if he can get off to a good start, and you would think with the experience he has and the 3 opponents Penn State have and in those first 3 games, that he will get off to a good start, at least numbers-wise. And then it's one of those things that I think it can build upon itself, right? It's, all right, here we go. Now maybe Rocco can catch another gear in his career. Maybe Penn State can catch another gear in its program's trajectory, and everything comes together. I do think, and maybe to too great of an extent, I was thinking about this over the weekend. Last year we, I'll throw myself in it, but I poo-pooed the early results way too much. I'm like, not worried about it. I mean, I'm watching it, and it's like, yeah, I'm not impressed.
Really?
Not thrilled. Not thinking this is what we were going to get. But it's like,
they're playing down their competition.
Be okay.
They'll be fine.
I wonder if, as a fan base, and I'm talking about in media, that if I'm going to go too far the other way, where if this doesn't look, if they don't come out and win by 5 touchdowns and they're up 42-7 at half in each of those first 3 games, where you're going to be raising the red flag and it's, we've been down this path before. Again, I do think you need to pay attention, and how this team starts is going to matter. But I also think it is still a blending of players still getting to know each other, and coaches getting to know a good number of the players, and that there is going to be a bit of a learning curve, and that this thing will, or at least certainly should, look better, as really all teams should, as the season goes along, right? I mean, that's what you would expect of any well-coached team, is that, all right, we learn from mistakes, we correct them, we're better each successive week throughout the course of the season. Maybe you have a game where just things fall apart or whatever, but I think overall you expect that upward trajectory, but you expect it from all of the teams, and that's why, again, I do think those first 3 games and what they look like are going to be very important here for trying to lay the foundation for at least a potential playoff run this season.
Yeah, and you and I are always a big fan of having not a bad adversary in the first 3 games, just to, you don't want 3 kick around teams, which was what we got pretty much, but we have an away game. I guess that's what I'm leading up to. And that is that, we always want to know how the team's going to play on the road. There is some bonding that goes in on the road, to be honest with you. And it's your first big away game is not going to be the Northwestern game. It's going to be the Temple game. And I know it's just a hop, skip, and a jump down to Philly. So it's a good thing. But I'm very interested in seeing how they come out. I will write Coach Campbell a little note and saying, hey, watch the 2012 Penn State versus Ohio game and watch our guys die out. Or ask Jordan Hill and Mike Maudie, who are on your staff, how tired they were, because you can't let the emotions get in the way, because they're going to be so excited and so jacked up as a staff too, to be coaching in that opening game versus Marshall. So, there's a lot of little stuff you got to watch out for. But I like the fact that we have it's home, away, home, and then we start the Big Ten schedule after that. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay if they start off a little slow and this and that. But, by that Buffalo game, the third of those, throwaway games type of things, non-conference games, I think we should be clicking. And we're going to see what kind of team we're going to have by week 3, hopefully.
Yeah. The other, have you been watching the reports out of Pittsburgh on Aller?
Yeah.
And so
it's unbelievable.
There is a big part of me that is wondering. And listen, again, we tend to get, and I'm throwing myself in as part of the we, the American sports consumer, we do tend to get very caught up in the moment, right? And like, they're not wearing pads. I understand what this is and where it's at.
They're not going to wear pads from what I'm reading.
And I'm not ready to proclaim that Drew Aller is the franchise quarterback and the next Hall of Famer.
Skipped your boy Will Howard right over
Pittsburgh Steelers. But Aller has looked very good. And the one criticism is that he occasionally is trying to force a ball in there when it shouldn't be in there. I've seen now 2 different
plays,
folks that are breaking the practices down say that there is no question, like it's not even close, as to which of the four quarterbacks has the most arm talent, the most talent right now. Again, not throughout their careers. We get where Aaron Rodgers is in his, but the most arm talent right now on that roster, a couple of people are saying, I mean, it's clear it is Drew Aller. He just has, he can throw the ball harder, further, more accurately, more consistently. Now, again, this is without pads, without pressure. It's a very different thing. And even with that, they are saying, yeah, sometimes he's forcing the ball in. Now, a couple of things about that. Terry Bradshaw was accused of trying to force the ball in sometimes. Brett Favre certainly accused of that. Aaron Rodgers has been accused of doing that. The one thing that Aller wasn't really permitted to do until the game was on the line, seemingly, was put the offense at risk with that type of opportunity. And then when he did, have to is overstating, but when he felt like, all right, now we've got to get something in here, then the mistake was made. I think if you're allowed to make those mistakes, I think if you have a slinger, we talk about this with aggressive defenses, right? I think if you have an overly aggressive defense,
yep,
you are occasionally going to get burned. But if you get 3 turnovers a game and you get burned for a long touchdown a game, well, I'm going to take that every time. And I would rather that than, all right, we never get burned, but teams can drive down the field against us and we don't get turnovers. Like the game-breaking plays, as long as you are getting more of them, I think you're okay with, every now and then we give them up. And I think it's the same thing with quarterback. Yeah, you don't want interceptions ever. Yep. But if your quarterback is throwing 3 to 4 touchdowns a game and also is throwing a pick, I'm going to take that.
Well, when does the transformation...
Rather than getting 1 touchdown a game and no interceptions. I think it's a much more difficult way to win. And listen, part of it is when the interceptions come, right? You throw an interception in the first quarter, sure. You throw 3 second-half touchdowns. You got
3 quarters to redeem yourself.
Right? Aller's issue at Penn State, but I wonder, and I'm not, it's not an accusation, it's an out loud, man, I wonder whether it was the coaching, and it's like, nope, I'm just not going to make a mistake. Well, now we've got to get a play, and now the mistake comes where if you're allowed to make a mistake early, then maybe you learn from it. It's, I got to put a little bit more under that, and then I don't know. Maybe I'm over analyzing that part of it, but it feels to me like, maybe that first year you go ahead and keep the wraps on a little bit. I think after that you let the kid go play, and if it becomes a recurring problem, okay, if he's having back-to-back games with 4 interceptions and 2 touchdowns, all right, time to reel it in. But let's go see him go play and let it loose. And,
let's rewind here a little bit. How is he throwing the interceptions? Is he learning from the interceptions?
No, that's another.
Or that's the other big thing it's like if he keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again, and with the bad interceptions and stuff like that. Like my questions right now is, when does a quarterback transfer from, okay, well, he's a gambler out there, he takes too many mistakes, he's forcing the ball, to a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, gunslinger? When is that transformation? When he's throwing 42 touchdowns a year and 20 picks? Yeah. Well, you're going to take that with the picks? Yeah. But again, with the picks, how is he throwing them? Are they mistakes on his part? Did he keep on? Is he not reading the right defenses? Is he doing the same thing over and over and over again? Or is he learning? If he has a pick, pick's fine. You can learn a lot of stuff from that. Is he going to learn? Is he going to listen? And then that's the biggest thing, is that these NFL coaches are going to hold him responsible, hold him accountable. I hope the hell he does play. That'd be great. I wish him all the success in the world.
And the other factor that I do think you have to try to properly analyze, and I think it's obviously all of this, I think, is difficult to accurately assess how much blame you put where. But I do think Drew was not helped by the receiving corps that he worked with throughout most of his career.
And how many coaches did he have?
Well, right.
That's another big thing. It's there's a lot of things that go in there what happened to him last year. And in his career, I should say. So he was the one who said, in that meeting that was the illegal recording of Pat Kraft talking to the players, when he said, talk to Pat, and he said, when he flat out said, he goes, I went into game, and they've never said who said those words, but come on, let's put two and two together. He goes, I went into games completely exhausted, like completely fried out. Like there's a time to over prepare, and it does happen. And with James always feeling that threatening, gotta win the big one. Yeah, you're going to over prepare because you're always going to try and over prepare and everything for these guys, and it cost them.
Yeah, I want to pick up on that because I think that's an important point. We'll pick up on that and continue the discussion. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube.
You look a bit nervous, hey?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, Coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.
And we are back on a Tuesday afternoon. Quaker Steak and Lube is the place to be. Great place to come on down and watch your sports while you enjoy great food, including the all-you-can-eat wing buffet, which is going to get underway as we go off the air here at 4 o'clock.
Correct.
Every Tuesday, 4 o'clock till close. You can come on down and enjoy all of those wings that Quaker Steak and Lube is world famous for, to your heart's content. And
I got a better one for you.
Yeah.
You can buy a car from Lion Country Kia with a loan from Timberland Federal Credit Union.
Oh, there you go.
And you can call them from your house that you buy from Ann Lusk. Great sponsors.
Boom, boom, and
absolutely
boom.
Best sponsors in the business.
That's how you do it, amateur broadcasters out there. The Goon is giving you a little
amateurs,
tutorial.
We stress the amateur.
Free of charge.
Stress the amateur.
So I want to pick up a little bit on the
coaching,
over-preparing, because I do think it is something that, and I think you can see it at all levels. And one of the things I've really learned a lot about coaching from is Cal Sanderson and Casey Cunningham and Cody Sanderson and now Nick Lee. But those three in particular is that how you coach and when you coach is important. I think I've talked about this before, but I really did always think that coaching was, all right, you see somebody doing something not properly or that can be done better, and you show them, all right, now this is the way you have to do that.
Yep.
And it's been interesting because even at like the little league level, when you coach, certain things is also important. If a kid is hitting well and you're like, oh yeah, but man, the hands aren't placed right, but he's getting hits. Again, now I would have said it prior to being around Cal and the staff. It's like, well, all right, you got to adjust the hands though. Well, now it's like wait until either they go into a slump or the season is over, and you know if you have a chance. And obviously, I mean, some of this is dependent on the access and all of that. But and to your point with over preparing, I do think you can overwhelm. Like if you tell a kid just using the at bat, all right, make sure your hands are in the right place, get your bat up in the air, make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. Oh, you got to bend your knees a little bit more. Well, all right. I mean, yes, all of that needs to be done. And also, that kid has no chance. If you're going over all of that right as they're getting up to bat, so, all right, I can tell you right now, this kid is going to strike out. Because at some point, what needs to be told, all of the coaching needs to be done again in advance. And now, go up, see the ball, hit the ball.
That's how I played.
Okay, I can do that. Now, hopefully, again, you're working on all of the things in practice. But again, if something is a little off, you don't necessarily need to correct it in the moment. Now, again, it depends on what it is and the degree to which it's causing problems and all of that. I understand that. But I do think, especially in this day and age, where we have so much access, I mean, everybody does, to tutorials online. Well, I can learn how to throw the perfect curveball. With all of this, there is also an element of art to it, right? And some of it, all right, technically, yep, that might be the perfect way, but maybe you're just a little more comfortable sliding the fingers over a quarter of an inch.
It might come naturally.
Yeah. And so I do think that the whole paralysis by analysis can be a very real thing. And I think there's a fine line there, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you want to be prepared. You want to know what your opponent's doing. You want to be able to pick up on different cues. You also want to, if you are an athlete, you want the athlete to be able to go do what comes naturally. Why a lot of these guys are at that level is they have God-given ability and God-given instincts on, all right, I know how to throw the ball. I know how to hit the ball. I know in football how to go catch the football. I know how to track the guy down. Whatever it is, sometimes you just need to let the athleticism go do its thing and let the artist paint.
And another thing is that the coach or coaches need to realize how guys learn. I learned different than Jeff Hardings. Jeff Hardings learned different than Marco Rivera. We all learned different than Andre Johnson. Bucky Grilly, you know what I mean? I mean, I've had coaches who over-prepared, had you every scenario, testing you on a bus ride out there, on the plane. He's giving you a test about what, if you see this defense, okay, that was Dick Anderson. I will use the man's name. Dick Anderson was a great offensive line coach, but it didn't register with me. I could not understand him. I never, ever understood his rules and his offense. Craig Service came in, and he knew how to get to me, and I learned the offense. Okay, Dick moved on to coaching quarterbacks. Kerry Collins, Wally Richardson, Mike McQueary, John Sacca will all tell you the man was the most, he had us so prepared for every scenario in those games, and it was like, okay, those guys needed that. They wanted that. They thrived on it as quarterbacks. And then, as offensive line, I just couldn't do it. I just didn't register with me. So I was going to take it back. John Sacca and I were very alike, both from similar backgrounds and stuff like that. So he hated the over coaching from Dick Anderson. Hated it. It wasn't registering with him the same way it didn't register with me. But KC, Wally, Mike, they all had very successful times. Kevin Thompson, I don't think maybe Kevin didn't have Dick or anything, but he did when he was a freshman. So those guys, it really, a lot of it depends on how the player learns too. And it's going to go into the old wall. You got to do it my way or the highway, or a coach can respond to you, understand how you learn, and go with that. I'm just saying, it's not just a question of the kid being overprepared or the coach overpreparing. It could be the kid just doesn't have the mental capacity. I didn't have the mental capacity to understand what Dick Anderson was saying versus this and that defense. And I'm like, what the hell defense? What did you just say? It's like, it was all built on a foundation. If you didn't get the foundation, know that correctly, you didn't know how to, you didn't know the top of it. So, again, it takes a little bit of the player and the coach to understand each other and to have a rapport with each other when it comes to preparing. Over-preparing, you can do that. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've seen it, and can I give you a great, great story?
Please.
Story time
with
There's
Goon,
story time with the
gentlemen.
Goon. Dun, 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 dun. I coached with
We
the
do
Goon.
need to get a little intro tune for this. Yeah.
I was with a coaching clinic down in Villanova, and I got to know the guy pretty well. And he was like, his head coach was there busting his balls, and it was just like, he said something about so-and-so game, and he's like, you always bring that up. He goes, well, you weren't prepared. And, as offensive lineman, as an offensive line coach, you're like, you don't want to hear that. That's like, what do you mean my guys aren't prepared? So the guy tells the story. He's like, man, he tells me on the side. He's like, bro, we went into this game and they were running this defense and they were blitzing like 4 off the one side. And it's like, it's not a workable defense because you're going to leave a lot of guys open. You can get burnt very easily. High risk, high reward, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the head coach was like, you got to prepare for this. You got to prepare for this. And the O-line coach was like, you know what? I don't want to do this because it adds a whole nother, junket to what these guys are thinking and got it going on in their head. First 2 plays of the game, they did it. And they got burnt both times. And the head coach comes over to the O-line coach and says, what do you want me to do now? Up and down. And he just goes real silently. He goes, quick kick. That was his excuse. That was his way out of it. Like, well, what do you think about a quick kick, coach? Because I need my guys over here to talk about this defense that they were not supposed to run, but they're running. Oh, that was. What do you think now, Einstein? Huh? What do you got? I don't know. Quick kick.
And I do. So it also part of this is the trust factor too, right? How much does the coach trust the player?
Correct.
That, hey, I don't need to. I know you're going to be able to make the adjustment, and it's going to take some time.
But again, the coach is going to learn how the kid learns, and then he'll read and he'll understand.
Right. No, I think that's. Yep, I think that's
like I would be. Remember the Northwestern game 2 years ago? Remember they were doing, and I would say, yeah, I got you. And that's some of what this team does, type of thing.
Yeah,
that's how I.
Well, and along those lines, just to bring it back to the upcoming season,
sure.
I think one of the reasons that I have some optimism for what this team is going to be able to do was Tony Rojas's comments about Danton Lynn and the communication that they have in particular, Rojas and Lynn, but that Lynn has with the defense in general, where he's going to call a defense, meaning Danton Lynn, but if Rojas in particular or others say, wait a second, I think this might... There's going to be the discussion, and I think, again, at this stage of his career, Rojas has earned, let's listen at least to what he's saying, and let's think this through and talk it through. And I do think that's when you can kind of get to the next level of being a championship type of team or program. Is, hey, coach, I'm seeing this. I think we need to run this. Where the kids know the defense, offense, but we're using Rojas as an example here. But, obviously work the same thing on the offensive side. If Beck says, hey, they are, they keep pinching in, let our tight end, I can just hit them. We can just kind of improvise something here, and I'm telling you, we're going to get 12 yards at a clip. Okay, well, yeah, you've been around as a starter for 3 years. I trust what you're seeing and what you're telling me. Let's go ahead and we can work that on the fly. Whereas first-year quarterback and you're out there, just trying to remember the snap count, you don't want to put too much on that guy's plate. So, that is also, it's part of a feel. And, yeah, I mean – this is going back many, many years ago, but Dan Gable talked about having the different approaches, and not many coaches have, but Gable was talking about, some guys like you
got to club them over the head.
Yep.
Some guys, one time and they get it.
Right. And but even before the match, it's like some guys need to get pumped up. Other guys just want you to leave them alone. They're in their own little world. And you got to know, all right, this is what this guy wants. This is what this guy needs in order to prepare for the best they can to be successful. And it's not all the same, because there are some guys that feed off of that nervous energy, and there are other guys that it's like, I need to be like just loose. Loose. I was going to bring up just as an example of that, Ed Ruth was probably the most easygoing. almost nonchalant guy. And wrestlers tend to be like high intensity and they're focused, and you can tell, man, that they're ready to go. And Ed would just be like, are you awake that the match is going to start here? And then he'd go out and perform at a very high level, and then he'd walk off, and he felt like he was going to go back to sleep. But he had that even keel about him, and that was part, I think, a big part of why he was as successful as he was. He didn't get fazed by it. He wasn't getting himself worked up. He's saying, no, I know what I'm doing. I'll go out there and do it. And then, back to life and other things. Whereas other guys, again, you need to I got to get the heart rate up to a certain point. I got to be, ready to run through the wall
Get
type
me
of
hyped
thing.
before the game.
And all that. But again, it's you've got to know your personality. And I think football is probably a bigger challenge in some ways, because you have to have everything meshing together. And if, you have 9 guys ready to go and all right, we're primed and ready, and 2 guys are like, I'm not sure what's going on, it's not going to go well. Even though you have the overwhelming majority of your starters are on the same page and they're out there. You need, pretty much all 11, not necessarily every play, but you need everybody throughout the course of the game kind of getting the idea here of what you're trying to do. And if you have different ways of getting yourself to being quote-unquote game ready, again, you've got to be able to accommodate that.
Oh, yeah. I remember my first start in 1993 at the University of Maryland. I couldn't eat my dinner. I was throwing up. I was all like jacked up and wound up. Oh, God, I'm so nervous is pretty much. Kicked the snot out of me. We won by like 70 points, and it was just like, you take that from 93, then you go all the way up to the 95 season. I remember sitting there almost being asleep in my locker like 10 minutes before the game. But it was just like, holy crap, because it's like the confidence and, you're going to be, you're doing things all right. You're prepared. You're ready to go. Nothing they're going to do that you haven't seen. You played against this guy. You played against that guy. And, it's a very relaxing thing for some guys. But, there's guys who were considered like, they needed a Ray Lewis hype man, getting them hyped up for a game. And I never needed that or wanted that, or was like, I didn't want to be around. I was like, shut up, go do your thing. You guys want to go, play the rah-rah thing, go ahead. But we had seen our senior year, we had captains that were rotating. So it was just a game captain. And then end of the year, we elected them. So like 94, we had senior captains. We had Kerry, Bucky, Vinny Stewart, Gelsheiser, and Willie Smith. So they were the guys who would go up and talk all the time and this and that. But then you get into like the 95 year, and it's just like we have game captains. I remember I had to speak because the captain spoke before the game to get everybody hyped up and all. I mean, I'm like, you throw like 50 F words in there and kick a few A's and knock this and that, and these guys don't belong on the field with us, but. that was it's just everybody's different, man, and everybody grows up, and it is. I mean, I am story time giving today. So my 1994 chain, there's like 25 guys on this text chain. It's just guys who are on the team, and we were all laughing. We got there because my report date in 1991 was July 31st. Isn't that crazy? That my one buddy's like, how the hell do you remember that? And I said, well, first of all, it was July.
Yeah.
Because we played in the kickoff classic that year versus Georgia Tech that we started a week before. So we were ahead a whole week before. I was a freshman, so we had freshman camp for 4 days. So we reported 11 days before as a freshman class before some guys 11 days before the returning guys from Michigan came through. Just crazy to think about that. It was July 31st, 1991 was when I met all these cats, and it was always great because we were all laughing. Like, I remember the first game we're playing Georgia Tech in the Meadowlands. D'Onofrio was towards his hometown of North Jersey, and I said, Mark D'Onofrio. We were all just laughing because it was he would be so gassed up for a game that he would do nothing but throw up. Like the whole locker room, you would just hear him puking. And then, they'd be in the Frank Giardello be interviewing him for the on Penn State radio after the game or whoever, and he's sitting there and he's throwing up into the trash can. Like he's so churned up and like spurred up from the game. And this is a game we just won 81-0, so he hadn't played since the third damn quarter. Maybe even I don't even know if he even played in the second half.
That's hilarious.
And then he's over there still puking because he's still wound up from a game. And we're all like, Jesus, this it's like these guys are built different. I never saw this or that. But sure as hell. My first start, I was puking my brains out, but I didn't progress as far as he did down the line. God, it was insane. Like, you'd be sitting there, like, in the shower and be like, yo, dude, why are you still throwing up? And what are you throwing up? How do you have anything in there?
At that point.
He was just dry heaving, and it was like one of those heaves that it was like numbing when you heard it. Like, it was like shivers go down your spine. Because, if they keep on doing it, you're gonna start getting the you're going to start dry heaving too.
Yeah,
that's funny about that's always a good thing about. But to hear Dan Gable say that, some guys need to get hyped up, and it's like, because I mean, if I think of a guy who's just going to be my way or the highway, it's Dan Gable. But it's a great coach. He understood that all of his athletes were different.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's about getting into routines, and there are certain things, obviously, with all coaches. I don't care how too. It's like, well, no,
who cracks the guys
to run sprints, or you have to do.
All
this
of our
or that.
guys seem to do this little thing, and they crack their back a little bit. Is that Kale doing that, and then like rubbing their shoulders and like getting them all wound up and this and that?
It's more so Casey, and I can't. I mean, Kale certainly does, but it's more for the matches.
Yep.
It's more Casey and Cody getting the guys ready. Casey for the
little dogs,
lower half for Nick Lee now, and Casey. But
we can say little people, Jeff. I'm a big person. Okay,
it is interesting how. Again, like I mean, even in high school, we had guys that we talk about I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. The Michael Scott, but they got to wear the same thing, or they got to eat the same thing, you go down the whole routine. And wrestling, like most sport, I mean, it's certainly, again, it is, you get into just, there's routines, and the warm-ups are whatever it is you do to get yourself ready to go. And they all, I mean, when I say, like, Ed Ruth was still, like, it wasn't they just sat there. I mean, I'm exaggerating when I say he just sat there. And
he had his routine, I'm sure.
But it was it was not getting himself psyched up. And most of these guys, again, part of what they're doing, but it's, you're getting the body acclimated to, all right, ready for competition. And the mind, right? And that's a big thing. And then it's, all right, you want to be able to do the same routine before every match, so that when you get to the big matches, it's like, well, this is the same routine. Like, I'm ready to go because this is the same thing I always do.
Yep.
So there's that familiarity. It's why if you go to Beaver Stadium early before the games, you see, it's the exact same routine. The guys are throwing the balls
to the same people.
Yep, the whole thing is all right. This is
you don't mess with routines.
What we
either.
do, and basketball.
I was right sock, right shoe, left shoe.
Is that right?
Yeah, I would every day. It was just how I got my gear going. I always put my right sock on, then my left sock, and then my right cleat, and then my left cleat.
Yep,
that's the order I went in. But, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Bucky Greeley wore the same underneath T-shirt, a New York Yankees T-shirt that his grandfather had given him in high school. He wore it all to the pros every game and every college game and every NFL game he played in, he had that New York Yankees shirt underneath his. And he goes, "My grandfather gave it to me, so I wear it." I was always, everybody had that little thing.
Yeah.
My mother used to put, she rolling over in her grave right now that I don't remember, the patron saint of protection. It's Christopher maybe, but she used to put pins, like holy pins and stuff like that, like a little, like a little, like a pennant you would have around your neck and stuff like that.
Yeah. She
would get it in a pin, and then she would pin it into the, into our shoulder pads to protect us from injury. That was her thing. So that's what she was always worried about, or her kids getting hurt when she watched football. But that she was always worried about that. You have your medals. You have your medals. I'm like, yes, I got my medals.
We're good.
We're good. I'm not going to get hurt today as I come limping out of the game with a God dang it.
Well, not hurt badly. Too badly.
Nothing a couple 100 Coors Light ain't going to fix.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break here. Back with a second and final hour of today's edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show.
You look a bit nervous, hey?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources, because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.
We are back here on a Tuesday afternoon. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We're coming to you from Quaker Steak and Lube on, well, really a picture-perfect Tuesday afternoon here in the Valley of Happiness as we hurtle toward football season. And
boys report this week.
What's that?
The boys are reporting on the 4th.
Yeah, all of the fun that comes with it. Yeah, Media Day is coming up. This is...
God, I get sick.
I think, did I see...
My God, I can't tell you how much I hated. I mean, there's no one ever who played this game who liked preseason. Now, I want to talk to you about it. So did they announce the Steelers are not going to have a padded practice?
Correct.
I mean, look at how far it has come in 30 years. You know, how much the Bill Walsh, George Seifert style of less practice, less hitting, you'll be fresher on Sunday.
Yeah.
Why the hell it took so long to do that? Holy crap, man. But, yeah, I literally – I walked out of the house yesterday, and it was like that smell. It was that smell, and it's just like early morning smell, and it's like, oh my God, it's football season, but it's like the worst part of football season, and that was the preseason camp. I mean, I just no hitting, no padded practices. I don't know who was saying it, but like we talk about it all the freaking time. Like, your body's got to get used to that. Like, you're going to go into that first game or two, and your body is just – you're going to shock your body. You got to – I don't know if it's beat your body into shape or whatever, like, but you got to be – you got to get, like, the hitting through and the soreness in and out and practice that.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you're asking a lot of these guys to not hit, and then all of a sudden, whew, especially in the offensive line. That's where I have the biggest issue because the defensive line is so much far progressed ahead of the offense at this time that if you're not doing live work, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, it's scary to think about it, what could actually happen. I mean, you've heard me talk about it, and you've talked about it. Like, your body's got to get used to the hit and the soreness and this and that. You just can't go into a game. And we've said it for the 8 years we've been on doing the show, and that is that when there's no off-season hitting or practicing and this and that, the quality of the product really stinks the first 2 weeks of the year. Really stinks.
Yeah, the tackling in particular,
tackling
I think
and blocking.
is just across the board. Is just not what it was.
It's crazy.
I mean, it just isn't.
I mean, just think about, like, kickoff, punt coverage. You're doing none of that live.
Yeah.
And you're expected to go out there on September 13th and go out there and say, oh, wow, go run down there and hit the guy now.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to practice it, but you're going to know exactly where you're going to go. But now you got to go make a tackle. Now you got to go make a hit, run through a block. It's pretty scary.
It is. It's a different world in so many different ways.
But would you say the Steelers are a veteran team? Defensively,
overall,
yes.
For sure.
Yes, defensively.
Overall, I mean, yes.
So he can have the faith in those guys to, that they're going to get it done.
I think the quarterback has a couple of years under his belt.
Well,
so
I'm not worried about the quarterback because the quarterback don't get hit ever.
They're okay. But, yeah, I don't know. I am really curious to see how a bunch of different things go with the Steelers this season. And actually I'm curious to see a lot of things about how Penn State goes this season and kind of how some things progress early in the season and then throughout the year, and then what we kind of see develop with the on-field chemistry and who kind of emerges as the guys. Again, you kind of know the backs, Rocco Becht and Tony Rojas are going to be there as long as they're healthy, but it's all right. Well, who else is who are going to be the go-to guys for Becht? Who are the guys that are going to step up and get it done up front? And, that offensive line, I still think that if you're going to have to start with a strength, you want it to be the offensive line. And, boy, it sure feels like going into the season that this offensive line has a chance to be really special and make it so that there is no doubt when you need that yard in a 3rd and 1 that they will be able to attain that yard. And there has not been often.
I'm going back to the
recent times where you had that feeling as a Penn State fan.
The bowl game versus Clemson in Pinstripe Bowl. I thought our offensive line played great. They were all replacement guys who went in there, and they went out there and they busted their humps. They were hustling. They were smacking people around, being aggressive. And then you're going to add 2 guys from Iowa State into that. You're going to bring Donka back from an injury. You're going to bring Cooper Cousins back from an injury that weren't 100% last year.
Cooper bulked up a little bit. They got to get some size on him.
So you've heard me say that repeatedly, huh? to back up what Jeff just said, our offensive line.
You want to talk about how
freaking enormous.
Cooper in particular is.
Jesus God! I mean, I couldn't believe when I saw him. I was like, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm 329 now." I'm like, "What were you at last year?" I mean, we're talking about putting 20 pounds on in the offseason. I mean, and the guys that they were marching out at our Letterman's thing and our football reunion thing. I was like, "My God Almighty, what are we doing here? These guys are huge." Like, I'm looking at Nick Dawkins, who's 6'5", 320 pounds, and I'm like, he looks small, like compared to these guys that they got going in right now, and it's amazing. I do have one question for you, and I've been thinking about it for like the last week or so, and that like every show we keep on screwing it up. I have not watched a lot of Iowa State football, and I doubt you have either. The only time I watched Iowa State was versus Iowa. And I know the type of players that the University of Iowa is producing and that they're coaching and what they have out there. And that was an absolute slugfest that Iowa State has pretty much dominated the last few years. That gives you any indication of what kind of program that we are going to run here. I'm very, very excited. And I know we have talked about the football thing the last couple of weeks, but I never really actually did come out and say that. But I have to admit that I have not watched a lot of Iowa State football, but the Iowa State football I have watched, I have been thoroughly impressed with how they matched up with Iowa and beat the tar out of Iowa, like physically. Like they manhandled them. And that was a huge rivalry game. And again, we know how Iowa and who Iowa is on the field. So, I mean, I'm watching, and that's what's getting me excited for this year. It really is. And then, you talk to people around the building and they're all like, this is so great. Everybody's just worrying about football right now, not TV appearances and this and that. And, they just want to coach football and win football games. And I'm like, that's where it starts. It's a pretty good place to start, buddy. So, yeah, I just wanted, you're in the same boat as me then. You're watching pretty much one Iowa State game a year the last few years, and that was the Iowa game. And I was always impressed in how they played.
And we kept tabs. I mean, you knew Iowa State was doing good things under Matt Campbell. Wasn't watching them closely, as you said, but did know they were just very consistently a tough out. Pulled some upsets, and had built a really solid program.
On defense, not turning the ball over on offense, and a sound special teams. It sounds like somebody else here who started here in the 60s.
How about it? And listen, I think that's why it does feel like just a good fit, Matt Campbell and Penn State culturally. Now, again, That's going to mean squat if Penn State goes 8-4. Everybody's, well, so much for that being a great fit. I get it, but it really is from a mentality standpoint and from a cultural standpoint. Like it does feel like Matt Campbell is very much in line with what old school, quote unquote, Penn State football was all about. And, listen, I think that is like grinding out the tough yards in the fourth quarter. Like that is what separates the championship teams and in the big moments. And I think there's a bunch of things, and some of it I think was overplayed in terms of the coaching and all of that. But there is no doubt that you are going to be largely judged on how your teams finish up big games, all at James Franklin and Ohio State, and then Michigan toward the end. And they consistently didn't go well at the end. You've got to keep it close to give yourself a chance in the end, but it does feel, before we even get to our first preseason camp, that Matt Campbell wants to institute that mentality that, hey, the fourth quarter is ours. Now, was James Franklin trying to implement that? Of course. Does every coach all across the country, is that what they're looking to? Yep, absolutely. But I think Iowa State had some success with that, and I think seeing that and knowing how close Penn State has been, maybe that is the ingredient that gets them over the hump. I've talked a lot about, I think that it's more likely that Penn State takes a slight step back than that slight step forward, just because the odds would tell you that's more likely. On the other side of that, again, what I do think can get you over the hump and into the national championship game or get you a national title is, again, in those tough spots, tough moments, you come up with the big play instead of, throwing the big interception or giving up the big touchdown catch or whatever it may be. And, again, we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sitting here guaranteeing anything, but I think the mentality at least is, hey, yep, we need a tough yard to get that first out in the fourth quarter. This team and this coach, we're going to go get it. Again, it's talk right now. Yep. I get it. Let's see how it plays out, and it'll play out over a few seasons. But that's the mentality that he is clearly at least trying to instill here. And sure. I think it is being welcomed with open arms from everybody, players, families, other coaches, fans alike.
I mean, we're, as an offensive line guy, I'm going to sit there and say the most important thing to me is always the 4-minute offense. And that is, can we go out there and milk the clock? We got to get a couple first downs, get our defense off the field, get them some breath, get a first down or two, salt the game away with 4 minutes to go in the game. You can do that. That is a huge thing. And let that clock run, and, you can win a lot of games that way. So I am looking forward to that aspect of it. And, we can sit there all day and say, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. That's fine. But I think that his mentality is, defense, tough offense, don't turn the ball over type of thing. Like he said in his press conference, I want teams to wake up the next day and know that they played Penn State. And that is what really tugged at my heartstrings. That is that comment of that, him saying that, because that is my feel about what Penn State was and what made Penn State who we were. And that is that you knew what you were going to get. You were going to get tough, hard-nosed dudes who were playing for something that it's very important to them, and that is, winning games and, winning titles, and that's the attitude we want to go back to. And if he's instituting that, and that's what he's coaching these guys, and they're listening up and they're believing in that, man. With what we got going on in this schedule and the fan base that we have, I mean, holy crap, man. I mean, the lightning may strike this year. Yeah, I'm already to that point, Jeffrey.
I'm with you. Well, and even the Big Ten Network was making the comparison of, Campbell coming in with the Iowa State guys at Penn State and what Signetti did with the JMU guys in Indiana. And there's obviously some differences, but one of those differences is Penn State is already an established big-name product. Indiana was the losingest program in history. So on paper, right, you'd be like, well, it'd be easier to accomplish that feat at Penn State than it would be at Indiana. But I think the approach, the conversation was more on the approach. Hey, we're going to bring the same mentality, and it's a culture thing that allowed us to have success at JMU and it will allow us to have success at Indiana for Signetti. And, same thing with Campbell. Hey, this is what we did at Iowa State. We had success. We're moving it over to Penn State, have some more resources, and, we can make this thing happen. And much like Indiana, I think we talked about this too a little bit last week, but the schedule plays out very favorably, maybe even more favorably for Penn State, truthfully, in the upcoming season. Again, there is not a game, at least as we sit here in early August, there's not a game on that schedule where you look at it and even on paper say, yeah, all right, pretty unlikely Penn State wins that one. I mean, that's you got to give it up to the other guys. Some games there that are going to be tougher than others for sure. At Michigan, no easy feat. At Washington, obviously USC with the talent that the Trojans have. But again, you don't look at any of those games and say, oh boy, yeah, probably you hope Penn State can just keep it close there. And so again, I think that the expectations, they may be unfair, but they're not unrealistic. I don't think, because of what Matt Campbell has accomplished at Iowa State and the talent that Penn State has. And, I think that's an interesting discussion too. I was listening, my gosh, I think it might have been Jed Donahue's show actually earlier this week or maybe last week. But the discussion was, or it might have been Jim Galani's show. I'm not trying to, but it was one of the shows that covers Penn State. Actually, more I think it was Galani. But they were talking about the recruiting services and how when a 3-star gets picked up by Ohio State, they become a 4-star. Mm-hmm. When a 3-star gets picked up by Iowa State, they remain a 3-star. And so on the recruiting circle, it's like, oh yeah, Iowa State isn't getting as many of the, and it's true. I mean, I don't think anybody would sit there and argue that the Iowa State roster and the Ohio State roster were comparable in terms of overall talent. But do I think there were some players there at Iowa State that had they gone to Columbus would have been rated more highly and have had equal success or better and
because the service is sitting there saying, well, Ohio State must think very highly of them. They must be a 4-star. Yeah.
Right.
That's a great point.
And so
because they're not going to, they're going to Iowa State. They're not going to get well, we get it here now. I've noticed we get a bump. Our players get a bump on their stars.
Yes.
Versus Iowa State. That's a hell of a point.
Yeah. And so, as always, it all starts with recruiting, and nowadays it's recruiting / transfer portal. But I mean, it all starts with the players that you're bringing in and the talent they have. You can be the greatest coach, greatest developer of talent, and if you don't have the talent that matches up with the top dogs, you're not going to win consistently. But if you're in the same ballpark talent-wise, and you can outwork, outgrind, have the confidence that, when we need to pull this out, we will do it. I mean, that can be a difference maker, and a slightly less talented team can win more consistently than a more talented team if, the roster is managed right, you have the right mentalities versus, and that's the other thing with, again, I give Ohio State and a lot of other top programs credit, but it is not always easy. And we may have seen this a little bit with Penn State last year. Managing a bunch of egos that have big personal expectations along with team expectations, like that's not always an easy thing, right? I mean, I think Phil Jackson deserved a lot of credit for what he did over the course of his NBA career, and in particular with the Lakers, but even with the Bulls, it is not always an easy thing to manage. Again, multiple big personalities with big expectations and multiple guys who want to be the guy you rely on in the clutch. Getting everybody to understand, hey, we're here for a bigger purpose, and you'll get yours. It's not going to be every night, but you're going to get yours over the course of the season, over the course of the playoffs. I think that's a big part of it too. So getting everybody on the same page is at least almost as important as getting the high-end caliber talent into
your locker room. Then you got to have your guy. You got to have your coaches and your strength coaches. Buying in. They got to buy in too. They got to buy in with the strength coach and the strength staff and the nutrition. It is a big thing anymore. It is a big business, brother. But everybody's got to be pulling the same way. I mean, that may have been an issue last year. Not everybody was pulling in the same direction. Who knows? Somebody may have been upset about this or that. Who the heck knows? Again, you got a lot of personalities in these locker rooms now, and you're filling these personalities with a lot of money. So you're thinking, are they going to mesh? Like you just said, Phil Jackson, can he come in there and have these kids buy into the program? And I think that they have. I really do, from what I'm seeing on paper, and then seeing in news, and then on paper with these guys talking about how much they are buying into it and how much they do like it and respect them. And I do talk to a lot of people who work in that building or work around them, and they say the attitude everywhere around there is so different right now. It is great. It's like a breath of fresh air is what is going on. And I can't wait, brother. I'm looking at my boy Willie. Willie, you and Juice, all you worried about is Nike and freaking Adidas, man. Adidas is fat boy gear, baby. Get used to it. It's good fat boy gear, Willie. You got to put some weight on.
I'm just going to tell you, no matter who it is that you have the agreement with, there will be some programs happy and some there isn't some programs not happy. There isn't a sports apparel company that is just great across the board.
Yeah.
Right? There's just not. Like, you might make great football cleats and not so great baseball cleats or wrestling shoes or vice versa. And
that's my question to you, is how are they handling it?
I mean, I think the jerseys and all of that, it's pretty much
well,
I don't think that's the same?
Well, I don't know. Some of them fit a little bit different, but I mean, if you buy a pair of or a pair of,
I think it's more
anything, Nike clothing, Under Armour clothing. But I mean, how is wrestling handling it? I mean, have they completely moved over? Does Nike even do wrestling shoes? Or I'm sorry, does Adidas do shoes?
I don't know the details, but they had a special. They had an agreement worked out where Nike's wrestling shoes are not, or at least were not the best. They may have. I'm not looking to disparage anybody or anything, but they just weren't. I think they would admit that at least prior.
The wrestling shoes.
Yes.
So what is Adidas? Do they rock them?
Adidas is much better.
Okay.
In that
uniforms,
so
all of that stuff.
Because
I tell you a story here, and you may have heard Spider tell the story, but Nike didn't even make uniforms in 1993. They just put their logos. They had other people making them.
Yeah.
The pants and the jerseys and the T-shirts and all that. The T-shirts and the shorts and the apparel, that was fine. But the jerseys and the pants, they had, I don't know who made them, Champion, Russell, but they just slapped the Nike logo on there, and all of a sudden it became a Nike jersey. And that's how it was the first year. But Rogers Alexanders tells a story that in the 82 championship game, they had always worn Adidas. All the players wanted to wear Adidas. And if you watch the movie Jump with Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan movie, you know what I mean, with Ben Affleck, everybody wanted Adidas then in the early 80s. It was Adidas. Nike was crap. So he said that, Joe had signed that deal with Nike, and the 82 guys, they all wore, he goes, you watch Garrity catch that pass from Blackledge. If you look at both of their shoes, they're both heavily spatted, and that is putting the tape up and down, up and through the leg and ankle, and then they drew in the Nike logos. And he goes, you look at those shoes that Blackledge is wearing and Garrity's wearing, and the Nike logo was like 4 times the size it really ended up being, because it was just drawn on the shoe, because they did not want to wear the Nike shoes then. So, and Nike was different every year with what they came out with, and it's all where they're getting their products from, who was making it. And I liked the Nike. They had some nice stuff or whatever, but like as I got bigger and fatter, I mean, every year I would go there, and when I was coaching in 5, 6, and 7, it was like one year it would be like really, really heavy, baggy clothing, and the next year it would be really thin. Like they went to that like Nike, like Under Armour type quality, polyester, and it was like tighter. And now that's like the 4X tall that they have is like, if you really think about it, a 4X tall is a basketball player pretty much. Yeah. So all these clothes that my buddy from the Eagles would send me, or I get from Penn State, it would be like tall, they'd be really long and isn't that, but it'd be like really thin. Like, damn, it's like built for a 240-pound basketball player who's 7'1", not a fat goon, man.
Yep.
But yeah, looking forward to the new gear.
We will take a break here. Be back with a final wrap after this.
You look a bit nervous, hey?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, Coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.
And we are back on a Tuesday afternoon here in the Valley of Happiness. We are Quaker Steak and Lube, final segment of today's edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. Yeah, we really haven't talked about the injunction that came down last week, and now we have many athletes who are going to have the opportunity to compete for an additional year this year, including Levi Haynes with Penn State Wrestling.
Well, I got a question. Is he going to do it?
Well, a lot of people have that question. We're going to find out.
Okay, well, then, like Dom DeLuca.
Yep.
That's one of the names they threw around. Dominic DeLuca has another year of eligibility. Drew Aller had another year of eligibility now. So these guys are under NFL contract.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Now, I think once you've signed the NFL contract,
okay,
I think you're
null and void.
You're out of luck. But, it is going to be interesting to see with a lot of the Olympic sports in particular, because there are several things involved, including, like, there are going to be, I suspect, I don't know this, but it seems almost inevitable. There will be kids, because of the roster limits now, that there will be some kids that are like, hey, I want to come back, and the school's going to be like, and now I have eligibility, and the school's going to be like.
You mean the kids right now, when all the deals are done, all the money's spent? Or are you talking about like next year coming up?
The upcoming season.
Sorry.
Because the guys that thought they used up their eligibility last year now have another year, many of them. So they can come back in. But if the program says now, again, for Levi Haynes, for Jesse Mendez in wrestling, if you have an All-American, goaltender in field hockey, it's like, we'll figure it out. But you are going to have to figure it out because, again, with the roster allotments, there's only so many spaces. So now if some of these kids, and presumably some, will come back, well, then somebody else is losing a spot for at least that year. Well, again, I don't know how all of this works, and maybe there's going to be there almost has to be some sort of a waiver granted where you are like, I don't see how you can penalize a kid who is coming into a program or the program because the court has now decided that these kids could. So to me, and I don't know what you do, because there's going to be some teams would say, I want 5 of my seniors back, and others are going to say 1. Well, it is a competitive advantage if you have 35 kids in your room versus 31. Like, there's more things you can do to set up competitive situations and opportunities and all of that. So I don't like that's one of the complicating factors. And then, the other thing is I think a lot, I don't, my guess is not as many of these kids that have the option to come back are going to come back as you might first think. I think a lot of kids have already moved into
enough is enough.
Careers.
I've had enough.
Well, yeah, that, but they've moved into new careers. They've, started a different training cycle. All of those things, and so it is going to be interesting to see how many of these kids that have the opportunity to come back, one, will try to come back, and two, will be welcomed back, at least to the program that they were at. And then I don't know what is involved. Like if I have that extra year of eligibility and the school that I was at is like, nah, we're good.
Chase the bag.
Am I able to sign outside of the transfer portal window to go to another school?
I got one name for you. The question is Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. He just got released by Baltimore, so he's not under an NFL contract. Was he the one who got granted the year? Because I got a strong. I mean, not this is very much on point, but might be a little. Might not be the right place to say it, but I am so sick, and this is what the problem is that this is the problem that the NCAA is going to turn into, and I'm going to speak as a football player, as a football coach, probably. So you got a guy out there who's looking for a 7th year of eligibility. That man has had opportunities to go to the NFL for 6 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not using that kid to create him and build him up to go to the NFL. And is that not what we're doing in college football? Isn't the ultimate goal is to go to the next level and play at the next level? Where you got a defensive end who wants his 7th year, he's going to come. But there are coaches out there who like their cushy jobs and their nice paychecks.
Sure.
Who say, you know what? Yeah, that guy can make me win one more game. I'm going to sign him. And the guy's going to get paid to go out there and play one more year. And they're going to make a lot more. And in that 1 year, then they're going to make as a first-year kid out of college in the real world. There's no doubt about that. So, I mean, that's one of the issues I have with everything that's going on right now is, like, are we still developing these guys? Well, first of all, we should be developing them to be student-athletes first, but that's the forgotten thing of the whole damn stuff going on now. Yep. But, I mean, you got a guy playing 7th year looking to get out there, a defensive end, a cornerback, but you know what? There's a team out there who's going to need a guy like that, and that's the crazy part to me. So you got Diego Pavia. Is he eligible now because he just got cut by the Ravens last week? Does he go back to Vanderbilt? Does Vanderbilt want him? Does he have to go back to Vanderbilt, or is it open season wherever he wants to go? I don't know. But I mean, come on. Well, I guess this is the return of the COVID year. So who's the wrestler we always talk about the Italian kid? Frank Molinari? What, didn't he lose his chance to win a 4th title or something like that?
Vincenzo Joseph.
So Vincenzo, sorry.
I mean, he lost his
you know what I mean, but he's the one guy who's like he lost his
4th year.
Yeah. So it's like those guys are getting screwed again. Now these are the guys who came out of high school with a COVID year, right? Is that the
No, this is the 5 and 5.
Oh, okay.
This is the 5 and 5.
So they did retroactively say it's not that you went back. Okay, now I understand.
Well, the court issued, the injunction last week. So, yeah, we'll see. See what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Levi's obviously already here. I mean, he's in the room and working out and on the world team, but part of the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. So, it's a matter for him of does he want to, go back and I could make an argument either way, and I guess it's pretty much up to him. I think Kale would welcome them back in a heartbeat. Although, again, it does throw off just kind of the natural rhythm, which it's going to be disrupted at some point with the 5 and 5 anyway. Yes. It was just a matter of exactly when. But obviously Jaden James is coming in expecting, if he moves up to 74, that at least it's a vacated spot. Will Hankel's obviously also there, and potentially, PJ Duke, or we'll see
I don't know Levi.
Out.
I've interviewed Levi, liked him, loved him, just a great kid, really liked him a lot.
Hard not to.
Now, does he say, you know what? I'm a businessman now. So-and-so university wants to pay me $4 million or $1 million to go and wrestle for them next year? I mean, he's taking that, right?
I doubt it. I don't think that's his motivation. I think he's staying here to train for the World Championships and then the Olympics. It's a matter of whether he wants to, while he's here, compete on the collegiate side or just help the collegiate kids out. And listen, it's going to be an interesting. I mean, there's a lot of interesting dynamics in play just across college sports with this injunction and these kids being given the opportunity if they wanted to come back. And again, in most of these cases, if not all, they had already presumed that their career was over. Their collegiate competition career was over. So I don't know that it's necessarily as easy to just snap your finger. Again, Levi's competing anyway, so from a competitive standpoint, I don't think it would be any big deal. But like if you were, a top lacrosse player, and now, but not good enough to make the profession, you weren't going to play professionally, but you're a really good college player. But you're like, yeah, you know what, I've graduated, and now you take a good job. Maybe it doesn't pay as much as what you were getting collegiately. And you've taken a couple of months and you're not obviously training the way you would have, if at all. Maybe in some cases you're just, I'm done training. I'm going to enjoy not training. Well, now all right, you know what? I can get back in shape in time for the next season. And I can take some classes and at least pretend like I'm working toward a graduate degree, or I don't know. There's a lot of, I can see it playing out a lot of different ways for a lot of different individuals and programs. And again, I don't know if there is a program, and as my hypothetical here, but I mean, if there's a team that was like senior loaded, and in your sport you got to the semifinals and lost a heartbreaker, or even got to the finals and lost, like, do you go if you're the coach, or do the players just go to the coach and say, hey, we have an opportunity, let's run it back, we got all five of us, let's get us back together here and let's go win the championship that we thought we were going to last year? I mean, it'd be pretty tough to say, I don't really know why you would, if you're the coach, say, no, forget it. We don't need no stinking championship. Let me work with these young players and see if we can build, up over the next several years back to what you guys had.
Depends on what those young kids are making, buddy.
So
that's where we're at now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I don't know. I'll have to look at. I really don't know the dynamics involved there with the roster management part of this, but
I wouldn't want that job.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are, again, you already have an agreement with the kids that are on your team, and most of these rosters, I think, are filled. And so, again, I don't know if there's a provision, but I don't know how you would write the provision fairly, because, again, if one team has 7 seniors, graduated seniors that are now coming back, and another program didn't have any, well, I mean, obviously you have the advantage of having all of those fifth-year players, but also, like, you can't make a program, I wouldn't think, renege on 7 opportunities that were already handed out and agreed upon. And in many cases, right, these days, these student athletes are enrolling over the summer. So they're already, in this school. They're enrolled. They're enrolled as part of your program. But you can't just turn around and say, "Oh yeah, U7,
red shirt,
get out of here."
Yeah.
Well, there is no red shirt. That's the thing.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Is there's no. I need to do a little more reading. Is what I need to do. I don't know the details on how that element of it is.
I think if somebody
handled.
lost to 174, is that what Levi wrestles?
Yeah.
So somebody is out there desperately needing a 174. You don't think they're going to contact him?
Oh, I'm sure they'll contact him.
And they say, "Hey, we're willing to pay." And
yeah, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Levi is. He's married now to a local girl. He loves this area. He's got designs on the Olympics, and I think believes that this is the place he can go do that. I don't think money is.
If he were to leave, would he be allowed back into the wrestling club? Sure, right?
I would think, yeah.
Well, would that be a stigma? Would that be like a little like, "Ooh, what are you doing? What are you leaving us for?" That's crazy to think about. I mean, what about hypothetically September? Somebody loses a 174, training, practicing. Hey, Levi, I know you haven't gone to school this semester, but you want to start going to school here and wrestle for it?
He's going to be well taken care of here, so it's not. I don't know that there's school that's going to give dramatically more.
Maybe I'm just using Levi as the example, but anybody.
I hear what you're saying, and again, I don't know what all.
Again, I go back to: is there a defensive end out there or a shutdown corner that just graduated last year who did not go to the NFL?
Yeah,
that's
I don't know
what's
what
the
guide
rule?
rails are here for. Yeah, I need to look into to all of that because it's just another ongoing complicating factor. In
Any news on the
crazy world of college sports,
salary caps and stuff like that? The college sports thing.
No, I mean, right now they're saying that the athletes aren't employees, and so they can't unionize. Now, at some point, I think that's going to be challenged, and I think that I don't see how you get around them. Again, I don't know the legal ins and outs, but I think that's going to be a pretty hard case for the NCAA or the power conferences to make, that these aren't athletes when they're getting compensation and have expectations for performance, and when they show up and all of those things. I don't know. I understand what they're saying the distinction is. I'm just not sure from a legal standpoint that is ultimately going to hold.
I wonder what the ruling is.
But part of this is going to be what gets written with Congress here. With the
So do you know what work study is?
Sports Act.
Do we have work study here at Penn State?
Yeah, there's work study.
Okay. If that person on work study, your student, like I when I was at Catholic University in Hampton Sydney College, I was the intramural director and then the strength coach. So I had kids working for me in the weight room, helping me clean, racked weights, this and that. What if they were to get hurt working for me on were they students? Were they employees? Because they're being compensated for doing a job. Again, we have a lot of homework to do, Ironhead.
We do have a lot
of homework. We don't like to do homework.
By the way, have you ever seen a league? I just saw a little blurb there on the WNBA. Have you ever seen a league as determined to self-sabotage itself?
It is unbelievable.
as the WNBA.
Did you see the shot that Sophie Cunningham took to her jaw?
Yes. And
then she got the penalty
for the
penalty.
She
Jesus.
got called for the foul.
Holy crap. Get out of World Cup, Goon.
Yeah. It's hard to not think that there's some but I just don't understand it. And Clay Travis has been
I love his idea.
Yeah. See, so there's two things going on with Clay Travis, which are I think both brilliant. But the one is I think it's $10 million.
$10 million
offered I think it's the Aces or the WNBA champions.
Yes.
The Aces will play and defeat a high school boys basketball championship team of Clay's choosing. And I mean, I don't think there's any reasonable person that doesn't think the boys state championship team would win that game. But put $10 million at stake. To this point, at least, he says he has not heard from the Aces. But the other, the other thing he is proposing to do, because you have at least a few WNBA coaches who are saying, oh, yeah, no, we would welcome trans athletes, i.e. biological men, playing in our league. So Clay is wanting to start the Nashville Balls, a WNBA team out of Nashville, which is where he resides. And he is promising that his team, to show its support of inclusion, WNBA style, will be nothing but
males.
Trans athletes.
Just trans?
Just trans athletes. And, I mean, if that actually were to happen, obviously that team would destroy and dominate the league for as long as it was allowed to occur. And there would be outrage. And by the way, rightfully so.
Sure.
That
Jeff, what happened to Title IX, buddy?
This is crazy. Well, yes, it's crazy because it is women's sports, and you'd be allowing. But that's what, again, these coaches are saying.
I know
they
we're
would be
on
okay with.
I know we're quick here to get off the air, but the utter arrogance to think that they make money as a league, still, and the athletes to say we should be paid as much as the NBA players. It's the same thing as the women's soccer team, the women's Olympic soccer team, and the men's soccer team. Like, it's not the same. You're not bringing that kind of money in. You should not be entitled to that kind of money. If you want to pay somebody that money, that's fine. That is on your owners. But you're not going to get NBA money as a WNBA player because it is completely and wholly subsidized by the NBA. And you can tell me if they're going to start making money on their own and the NBA can pull their money out of it, then you can do whatever you want.
On that happy
insanity
note, we bid you adieu for this Tuesday afternoon. We hope you have a great next couple of days. We will be back on Thursday at 2 o'clock with another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. Until then, be good and be safe.
You look a bit nervous, eh?
Thierry, what's it like to stand in the FIFA World Cup stadium?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just tell me. Come on.
It's not something that you can put into words.
Such a tease.
You can't rush it. You will find out when it's your time.
Thanks for the wisdom, coach. So, how much longer?
Now go and make history, my man. Here's the World Cup you've been waiting for.
Actually, the World Cup's been waiting for me.
That's the spirit. Just remember who drove you here.
Inspiring every step of the next legend. The official matchball carrier, proudly sponsored by Kia. Inspiration connects us all.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College.